which comes about with age. Now, the average Malaysian for today now can expect to live up to 76. But, sounds well, but according to the recent survey and study, only 67 years good health, and after that, there'll be problems. I'm included in that category. Doesn't sound that bad. That means 9 years of poor health, disability, or a reduced quality of life. Now, regrettably, this gap has not improved over the past 2 decades. In fact, it has widened from 8.6 years in 2000. This means that living longer does not necessarily guarantee that we are living better. Well, here I'm not suggesting that better means in terms of physical health or living conditions, but also the quality of life and ethically, morally responsible. This is a wake-up call to make us place a heavier emphasis on investing in our health, particularly in preventive care, public health education, and community-based support systems. We must shift from a system that treats diseases to one that promotes lifelong wellness. We have to take bold steps from now. We have recently launched this health white paper that is anchored in prevention, equitable access, and system-wide reform. Remains our compass, and Budget 2025 reflect our priorities. Now, 45.3 billion ringgit allocated to healthcare, which is a 9.8% increase from the previous year. And still, in every cabinet meeting, the Ministry of Health complains that he's short of funds. So I advise him to go and see Amir, not me. Now, one key initiative is the mandate for private healthcare facilities and community pharmacies to display medicine prices, a policy that fosters fair competition and helps reduce out-of-pocket spending. Unfortunately, it became a controversial issue, but I hope we can try and resolve this through further engagement. But understand that for the poor, for the elderly, they just, what we need to provide is to tell them and to be able to know the price, what is they are in for, and that's all. I have find difficulty getting this across because there's so much resentment because some would consider that the government tends to be too autocratic in wanting to determine prices. No, but I think just to display so that people can decide for themselves. Some people can bring 100 ringgit and suddenly if the fees, the charges 150, they will have difficulty. But still, I have advised the ministry to further engage to see how we can further convince the general practitioners, in particular the doctors, to accept this proposal. What we are doing is just to protect finances of these families. Now, but ultimately, achieving lasting health reforms requires more than government action. And the Rakan KKM, Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia Initiative, reflects our whole-of-nation approach. That means uniting public institutions with strategic investors to strengthen healthcare delivery. Now, of course, EPF has played a particularly important role here. I must commend EPF for this effort, and with the support of other GLICs, this signals a strong public-private partnership focused on enhancing healthcare infrastructure, accessibility, and quality, creating a system that can support all Malaysians. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us face the stark truth and reality. A longer life raises expenses for individuals, families, and governments. But we all pray for long life, so we have to deal with this. Now, tackling this challenge starts by ensuring that work pays fairly. A long life must be matched by decent wages, dignified work, and a fair share of national prosperity. That is precisely the reason why, under Ekonomi Madani, we are committed to increasing the labor share of income to 45% of GDP, up from 32% in 2023. We increased minimum wage by 13% this year. Our progressive wage policy and the leadership shown by GLICs through their Gear Up initiatives are examples of how structural change begins with just action. But fair wages alone are not enough. We must strengthen our social protection system to prepare for longer, more complex lives. More recently, the extension of EPF coverage to migrant workers marks a significant step in strengthening social protection. I also commend EPF steps. I mean, praising EPF a bit too much. They just gave me coffee. But we have to recognize and acknowledge the EPF has done remarkably well. And they are continuing to explore new approaches to enhance retirement adequacy. As people live longer, the focus must shift from the lump sum savings to sustainable retirement income. So we must start thinking about how to build a system that reflects greater solidarity, particularly for those with limited lifetime savings and earnings. In our government's vision, no Malaysian should grow old in fear of poverty, fear of abandonment, or fear of irrelevance. Older Malaysians today are healthier, more educated, and more capable than ever. With the right support, inshallah, we can continue contributing through work, mentorship, or community service. Now, around the world, countries are rethinking labor and retirement policies in response to longer, healthier lifespans and evolving workplaces. Many nations have begun adjusting retirement ages, balancing fiscal sustainability with individuals' desire for continued engagement. These reforms, accompanied by increased workplace flexibility and efforts to foster age-inclusive environments. The reimagining of the workforce comes at a time when our labor market is undergoing, again, structural shifts. Our economy is being reshaped by micro-entrepreneurs, gig workers, and the self-employed. So under Ekonomi Madani, we are committed to raising the ceiling of investing in digitalization, inclusive innovation, and SME growth. Now, through programs such as SME Digitalization Grant, the National Industry ESG Framework, and targeted support from Tekun and Bank Simpanan Nasional, we are laying the groundwork for an inclusive, innovation-driven economy. And as we prepare for longer lives, we must also protect the world in which those lives unfold, which means a truly sustainable longevity economy is one that serves both people and the planet, including the environment. Now, in Islam, for example, we are taught that well-being is a trust, amanah, not merely a privilege. Taklif, not tashrif. Amanah, responsibility, and not a privilege. And that social and economic development must serve both the hereafter and the present world. So we are reminded that there must be a fair balance between the hasanah of dunya and the hasanah of akhirah. So with that, I must thank you again for this meeting, conference, to digest ideas, very difficult to resolve, but hopefully you come out some brilliant ideas how we could try mitigate the issues at hand. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us guidance and protection. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, for that inspiring address. Kindly remain on stage as we invite our VVIPs to join you for the officiation of ISWC 2025.
Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, if you could kindly place your palm on the scanner on my count in 3, 2, 1.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, ISWC 2025 has been officiated. From the bottom of our hearts, we would like to extend our sincere appreciation once again to Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar